when I was a kid. Well, I'm not gonna say when I was a kid. I'm not sure what age. I'm not sure what age it happened or when it really settled into me, but um, it was about the idea of selfishness. That being selfish was top of the list things not to be. I mean, I remember learning to share when I was younger, and I had a I had a powerful urge for, or a desire. I guess I had a powerful desire for whatever it was that I desired. I desired it with my whole body. Like, it wasn't just up here. It was my everything. My fingers and toes desired it. And the task, subconsciously, right? I didn't have these words, obviously. The task was for me to figure out, or became, not was, it wasn't given, it was this thing that I was doing internally. It was figuring out, there it is. I was figuring out how can I both get what it is that I desire and it not be bad. What is the way, what is the math that it would take, or the actions that it would take for, yeah, sometimes it was being quiet and doing nothing. That as long as I don't say anything, I'll get the thing. I'll act in a, it stems from the, from being quiet when the threaten of physical punishment was given to me. My skill for that was I didn't want to be spanked, and my logic for that was to do this thing where I become so invisible that I'm forgotten about, and then if she forgets, she won't spank me. So that was the learning that sometimes doing as little as possible, becoming almost invisible, is how I get what I want. And because there were times where asking for what I want, it's not even just that asking for what I want didn't get me what I want, but asking for what I wanted, or really, this extends into more levels of asking other than just for, well, I guess if I'm asking something, I want to know the answer to the question. So I always want something if I'm asking something. But sometimes when I ask, when I ask for something, it's met with, don't ever ask me that. Why would you ask me that? Why would you? One time I asked a woman for some head. I was like, hey, baby, can I get, no, I didn't. that's the personality that, when I think about the smooth talking, the pretty Ricky, not the singers, the Pretty Ricky, what they called him. when I think about that kind of mentality, which is what I think is effective, or I thought uh, for a time that was the somehow there's a smoothness in that can somehow that'll hypnotize whoever it is. So it's the voice that sometimes I'll go to when I'm talking about sex and me having it. Because I think that, oh, that is what I wanted to become. And if I had enough sex, I would. I That seems like the logic I was using when I think about why I will go into that, because I'll do it playfully. It's never in earnest. I don't actually go up to a woman like, "Hey, what's up, girl? How you doing?" Like that's I have I there's not a moment in my life where I've done that in earnest. But when I'm talking about it, oh baby, that yeah, she come out though. So that's that. Anyway, I had asked this woman for a blowjob, which was, if I remember, I'm not actually sure what it felt like when I asked, because the way she responded, I just felt immediate shame. So I'm not really sure how I approached it. But if I understood myself fairly accurately, then it was, um, hey, so can I have a blowjob? Yeah. Uh, and oh man, the way that she looked at me, it was like, don't ask that. Don't ask me that. Which I took as, you should never ask that to a woman. You should never, ever, ever ask that. That's how my shame took it. And then I was like, okay. And then some time had passed. And then she just elected to give me one, which then was this, oh, okay, okay. See, it happened. uh, and until now, I didn't think about the fact that, and yet still a result of me asking. Well, I can't say that it would have happened. I can't. That'd be impossible for me to tell. But, and I, I felt big shame about that, and so asking became uncomfortable, and I found myself, there was a period where it was mostly offered to me. I don't have many recollections of spontaneously asking. At times there would be the walking by, hey, do you want a little, hold on a second, guys. What? Do you want me to do you want me to suck? Oh my gosh, yes. Oh my gosh, absolutely. Do you want me to, oh, let me pause this. No. Yeah. Wait, whose idea was it for me to do it while I was gaming? Because I definitely did. Yeah, it wouldn't have been mine. I was gaming. I was gaming. There were probably times where I said no, because I was so in it. Like, no, 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 no. We just got to Crota, and this boss fight is hard, so I need to lock in. The Vault of Glass. Oh man, had to lock it. Had to lock into that. The Vault of Glass, yeah, definitely then. So, um, yeah, this this feeling that I would get from asking. Here's what's happening in my mind right now is I am searching for the piece that this connected to. The sentiment of the sentiment of how I felt about asking. Why did you ask this question? The story about asking for the blowjob, the sentiment from that, and the shame that I came from that, a time that I remember feeling shame from that, which has definitely affected how I operate when it comes to asking for what I want. Oh, my desire. I was attempting to do that in my head, and then I got to the Vault of Glass part, and I started laughing. That's what that was. And then I figured I'd talk it out. Sometimes talking it out is helpful. Doing it in here, I would like to, and putting words to it. So yeah, I've had a strong sense of desire and selfishness. There it is. That's the nugget. Selfishness. Yeah, the idea of being selfish. I've always felt shame anytime I felt selfish. Was I saying shellfish? Selfish. Selfish. Huh. And water. I want to finish this before I go get water. Can I power through? The feeling of being selfish is something that I had always given a negative stigma to. And felt at any time I did something that I could imagine a way in which it could be perceived as selfish. Even if there isn't anyone around me perceiving it, if I can envision a way to look at it that it would lead to that, I would feel that. Because I would imagine it, and then I would imagine feeling like what it felt like to have that judgment. So it felt as if I was having that judgment of the thoughts that I was having in the moment. Like I was having the judgment that I'm imagining within myself, on myself, and feeling it. Hey, Dad. I'm home visiting. So that is part of why I believed in the negativity of selfishness. I recognize that when changing my understanding of what selfishness is, when I define it linguistically, or when I think about how I define it in my own mind, which is with words. It's how I define everything, with words. When I think about the act or the idea of selfishness, it attached is the sentiment that it is choosing oneself over others. That is how I understood selfishness. Shellfish? Shellfish. That's what I thought I said earlier. Selfish. Selfish? Shellfish. Selfish? Selfish. Shellfish. Selfish. Selfish. Okay, that's enough of that. I think the way that and so that that simple definition of selfish is easy for me to come across, which is why I felt it all the time when I was thinking about that. And because I'm not a dictionary, and I'm not sure if that's how the word is defined, I recognize that outside of the definition, outside of the word, that sentiment, that I attach that sentiment, simply the feeling negative about an understanding that if I choose myself over others, it is negative. That is what I was feeling. Selfishness may include the language of with disregard to all others. Because I have looked it up and I don't have it in my mind. But I think choosing myself over others is positive now, in a positive way. I have a positive connotation with that. Let's start there. Let me do that. Oh, snap. I was in my head. I look down into, anyway. I will choose myself, and I am a proponent of choosing oneself over others with regard to others, because that's different. It is, if there is something that I want that involves other people. I want to ride to the mall. Not sure why I'm doing that one. Okay. But if I want to ride somewhere and then I asked my dad for a ride. If I force him to give me a ride, then and he doesn't want to. He may say he actually like, son, my back hurt. I did something and I can't sit in a car for long periods of time and there's lots of traffic. That's like a 2-hour round trip and then I have to come back. I just can't. And I say, I don't give a fuck about that, Dad. There is a sale at One Golden Thread and you're gonna take me. I am not gonna miss this. And I need $300. That is choosing myself with disregard to my dad. Now, if I take him in regard, I'm like, oh, because I remember that he is also, and I want him to, choose himself over all others. That's what I desire from him. So when I recognize that he's doing something for himself, that for me is ideal. So then I can take that information and then I can pivot and I can say, hey, Dad, I still need $300. If you got it, you do, veteran. It's not even that. He's just... We're not talking about my parents' finances. That is none of anyone's business. Well, I guess that's untrue, because they are someone. No, but if I just pivot and say, hey, okay, I'm gonna get an Uber, or can I borrow your car? Can I take your car? Because clearly you're not using it. Then that's me still making a decision for myself. And if my dad says, no, you don't get $300, we have 8 grandchildren. You're okay. You're choosing to do comedy. That has nothing to do with that. I'm just okay because I sold my body to Hollywood for 15 years. I got passed around from studio to studio and the things that they did to me. I can feel it as I hold up the phone in this shoulder. Yeah, so, but yeah, that's me. That's both of us choosing ourselves and accepting that we are choosing ourselves. Because no one on this entire planet, not a living, there's not a brain on this planet that understands me the way that I do. The amount of information that I have about myself, it's happening all the time, 24/7. I am getting data about me and how I feel. I am the arbiter of my fate. No, I am the one who has the best ability to take care of me and to ask for what I need and understand how I feel about what's happening. So I'm going to put myself first. I'm going to take care of me. And by doing that, it will allow me to take care of others. It'll allow me to help, not take care of. But it increases my capacity for everything. because I'm not constantly choosing other people over me and doing things that are outside of my capacity, that are within theirs but not within mine. So when I choose me, I'm always in my, you know what I'm saying? I'm always in the zone, baby. Yeah, I'm in the groove. Look at that. Look at the groove. You can't really see the groove. I'm always, as I'm always looking out for what I need in any moment, in every moment, in the moment. In the moment. You're right. There's only one moment, and I am changing within it. The moment is now. We are not a timeline, we are a point of time. Anyway, that is how I was thinking about being home, stuff that what do I want? I was thinking about moving back to Virginia. It's a passing thought. It just kind of through my head. And, but somehow I got to, I don't know, I guess I'm not exactly sure the leapfrog to Shellfish, but choosing myself with disregard to all others, if that is the definition of selfish, then that sentiment, regardless of what the definition of, I am anti. But choosing myself over others, with regard to others, I'm big team that. So, oh yeah, and one more little bow. The woman that shamed me for asking for a blowjob, I don't fault her, because she was telling me how she felt. She doesn't like being asked. There may be a pressure there. Not sure. I didn't ask. I just felt shame, and then was like, okay, never again. I didn't ask why. But whatever it was, she was choosing herself. And wasn't really a big deal. It's like, okay, then that just doesn't happen. Yeah. So, that's all.